Let's give it one more bash now, and we're chatting to SAA Tladi about the agreement to charter flights to various international destinations to repatriate foreign nationals. And they have had talks with several embassies, which is what you were telling us, Tladi, when Skype just didn't kind of work with us. So we've got you on the phone now. Please continue with what are the arrangements you've had to make to make this possible?
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity, and I'm sorry about the lack of proper connectivity on Skype. I was trying to lay the foundation to indicate that the context is COVID-19, which was followed by the declaration of disaster, which was followed by the travel ban and the lockdown. All of these have had an impact on the movement of passengers mainly, and to a certain extent cargo. Once the lockdown had been imposed, then you saw a situation where a number of travelers were, if you like, for lack of a better word, trapped, who could not move out of the country because they had a limited window of opportunity to travel. And flowing from that, we were approached by a number of governments through their embassies requesting us to provide a service for repatriation of their citizens to their respective countries.
All right, Tladi, what is the flight plan here? Which countries are you prioritizing at the moment?
There are a number of countries that we are in negotiations and discussions with, but one could indicate that the few countries where the plans are at an advanced stage include Germany, Belgium, as well as Brazil. In the case of Germany, based on the plans that we have put in place in consultation with relevant government departments in South Africa, as well as the embassy, we have agreed and will put in place, as of tomorrow, 2 flights that will operate from Johannesburg and from Cape Town to Munich, as well as Frankfurt, respectively.
Tladi, would this include, I'm assuming this would not include foreign nationals or visitors here who've tested positive for COVID-19. They remain in South Africa, obviously. So what are the precautions that you're going to be taking during these flights?
Yes, there are a number of conditions and requirements that must be satisfied. And these include determination as the status insofar as the travelers are concerned. In other words, the German nationals who are going to be traveling as of tomorrow will have to undergo a screening process on the basis of which there will be an indication as to whether or not they are indicating or showing symptoms that are associated with the coronavirus. The second one is an indication that we are having plans in place at the level of ensuring that the flight is safe, where we have put measures in place. You will understand that based on history and experience, SAA is capable of undertaking missions of this nature. The recent most example is one where we had to bring back our South Africans who were in China, in Wuhan, as well as the fact that we have been doing missions of this nature operating in other parts of the world where there was a SARS epidemic in East Asia, Ebola, in Central Africa, and many other parts of the world. At the end of the day, it is important to ensure and to understand that these will be chartered flights that will be operated on a commercial basis insofar as we are concerned, and every other person who is interested in traveling must liaise or make contact with their respective embassies in order to facilitate for their transfer.
Tladi, will this work the other way around as well in terms of bringing South Africans who are stuck in other countries back home?
We are operating in an unusual environment at the moment. The SAA is not operating normal commercial flights, where the airline on its own would make certain decisions in order to accommodate or not to accommodate passengers. So insofar as that particular decision is concerned, it is a call that will have to be made by our government insofar as the facilitation of our nationals who are in other parts of the world where we would be operating.
And one would imagine while they're in the process of planning that, like we heard from the minister just a couple of days ago, that would make sense. So would SAA be open to, bringing them back, others who are stuck, who need to come home, South Africans who need to come back to South Africa urgently?
Look, it is something that, in principle, that we are not opposed to. It is something that requires us to sit down and have a proper understanding of what that process would entail. However, we should be able to accommodate them once we have really ticked the necessary boxes insofar as this process is concerned. At the end of the day, it is a call that needs to be made by our government.
Yeah, Tladi, is there a deadline? Do you need to get all of this sorted out, all of these people transported before a certain time?
I beg your pardon?
Do you have a bit of a deadline that you're working towards, that these flights have to happen and this repatriation has to happen before a certain time?
We do not have deadlines that they must happen before a certain deadline. However, as part of planning, there are certain deadlines that we need to take into account. As I indicated earlier on, we are operating under extraordinary circumstances, and the planning involves really interaction with as many stakeholders as possible. That include the Civil Aviation Authority, air traffic controllers, respective countries for landing rights, and all of those things have to be taken into account. Confirmation of the flight path, all of those things needs to be properly attended to before we commence our flight. Once we are in agreement, and in our case, departments that include the Department of Transport and DERCO have given us a green light, as they have done in this particular case, we should be able to commence with our flight. Because they are chartered flights, we take our cue from our customers, where the embassies would indicate their preference in terms of travel, taking into account a number of other attendant logistics.
It's just surprising to me that you say, as you are working with DERCO, they are looking also to bring South Africans from other countries here, that discussion has not happened with you, that you are flying to certain countries. There hasn't been thought to arrange with you, seeing as you are going to be doing this now, to bring South Africans back. Isn't that odd?
Rebecca, it is better that DERCO should speak for itself on this particular matter. What we do know is that a need has been expressed. We have been approached. We have indicated that we have capacity. We have a capable workforce in terms of our crew to undertake a mission of this nature. Other requirements in the context of a lockdown, they really have to deal with questions of meeting the requirements in terms of regulations. It is not an open season where we would operate in a normal commercial way. We operate subject to certain requirements. And on this one, it is not for the airline to exercise that discretion.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying it's something on your side. I'm just, surprised that, seeing as they've been involved in these arrangements with you, that hasn't been part of the discussion. But very quickly for us, Tladi, the cost of all of this, where does that fall?
The cost will be borne by the respective customers. In this instance, every single embassy that is approaching us that represents their respective governments are the ones that are going to put the bill.
All right, thanks very much for making yourself available, and we'll continue to keep an eye on this process.